Good evening, bring the latest news for tonight. I am KRIZZA Lopez and this is Eurotv News Thread. The details on our broadcast. Fresh questions are now being raised over the 2026 national budget. An investigative report by the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism reveals that several top officials in the House of Representatives received billions of pesos in budget insertions despite ongoing controversy over questionable flood control projects. Here's what the PCIJ found.
Even at the controversy surrounding budget insertions linked to questionable flood control project continues, a new report from the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, or PCIJ, reveals that several high-ranking House officials inserted massive amounts into the 2026 national budget. According to PCIJ, under the leadership of House Speaker and Isabela Representative Faustino Bojidi, the new speaker emerged as the largest recipient of budget insertion from the 23 billion pesos DPWH allocation for 2026. Following day were the newly appointed House Appropriations Chair Nueva Ecija Representative Micaela Swansing and her sister Sultan Kudarat Representative Bella Swansing. During budget hearings, this district was initially allocated 1.1 billion pesos, but after House approval, the amount nearly tripled to 3.8 billion pesos. For Swansing, DPWH originally earmarked 1.6 billion pesos for her district, which later increased by 3.4 billion pesos. Meanwhile, her sister Bella Swansing received a total of 3.9 billion pesos after an additional 1.6 billion pesos insertion. Despite stepping down as speaker and facing allegations of receiving billions of pesos in kickbacks, the districts of the president's cousin, late Representative Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, still secured the largest allocation amounting to 6 billion pesos from the DPWH 500 billion pesos allocable and non-allocable funds. This amount was already reduced from the original 9.9 billion pesos proposed by the DPWH for Romualdez district. Yesterday, the bicameral deliberation on the DPWH budget were suspended due to an alleged deadlock over the agency's request for additional funding, which could affect thousands of DPWH projects nationwide following major budget cuts. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
The Department of Public Works and Highways has issued an apology to the Senate after submitting incomplete data tied to its request for additional funding in next year's budget. The lapse has delayed bicameral deliberations on the 2026 national budget. More details in this report.
The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, has issued an apology to the Senate over its application for updated construction materials price data, or CMPD. DPWH admitted that the data it submitted lacked sufficient information, particularly on regional adjustment factors. The agency acknowledged that the documents submitted for Senate consideration, covering funding requests for around 10,000 projects, were incomplete. This lapse prompted Senate Committee on Finance Chair Sherwin Gatchalian to postpone the scheduled bicameral conference yesterday. The DPWH assured lawmakers that it will submit additional studies, especially prices of construction materials that could significantly affect infrastructure implementation if funding is not increased. Earlier on Monday, House Appropriations Committee Chair Representative Micaela Swansing clarified that no funds would be returned to the DPWH and that the agency merely requested clarification on when funds would be considered as savings. Swansing explained that once funds are officially classified as savings at the start of project implementation, it would ensure that all approved funds would proceed accordingly.
I don't want to use the term ibalik. It's really more a matter of figuring out kailan siya i-consider as savings. So, ulitin ko po, I will echo what Sec Bin said yesterday, wala pong ibabalik in that sense. Kasi po, either ngayon siya ikakaltas or later on during the implementation. Ang benefit po nung during the implementation stage, wala pong magiging unimplementable. Kasi on a per project basis po, yung savings na atin pong kukuhanin. So, lilinawan ko po, wala pong ibabalik.
Congress is targeting the ratification of the 2026 national budget on December 22. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
After the DPWH office in Bulacan caught the attention of the public due to flood control mess, the Department of Public Works and Highways has appointed new executive for Bulacan District. Mia Layagin has more.
Huwag kayong gagaya doon sa mga papalitan ninyo. Huwag kayong gagaya.
This was both the reminder and warning of Department of Public Works and Highways Secretary Vince Dizon towards the new appointed officials of the agency on the controversial Bulacan District Office. On Monday, Dizon confirmed the appointment of two new local DPWH executives, namely Officer in Charge District Engineer Kenneth Fernando and OIC Assistant District Engineer Paul Lumabas. They replaced former DPWH officials Engineers Henry Alcantara and Bryce Hernandez, tagged in the anomalous flood control scandal in Bulacan, including ghost and substandard projects. Dizon expressed support to these new officials as well as hope that through this move, the agency will be cleared from corruption links.
With our new leadership here in the 1st District of Bulacan, we will give them the full support. It's symbolic of the changes that we want to make, that the President wants to make in the DPWH. Diba? Let's do this right na. Gawin na natin to ng tama. Baguhin na natin to. And yung ginagawa natin dito sa first DEO of Bulacan, yun din ang gagawin natin everywhere.
In a meeting with DPWH officials, Dizon slightly joked about a bad energy within the Bulacan office. It is the same infamous office where said photos of bulks of cash from flood control projects commissions were took.
Bakit ako parang kinikilabutan dito sa...
Iba yung pakiramdam.
Iba yung vibes dito.
Mabigat ba?
Kailangan ayusin niyo yung vibes dito. Medyo iba vibes. Parang maraming mga bad spirit dito.
Ito nga hinimas namin kanina eh. Kailangan daw himasin.
Kailangan to. Kumuha tayo ng albularyo dito. Magpapaginis tayo.
Despite the joke, Dizon expressed commitment to not allow similar activities and transactions to happen inside DPWH.
Instead of this, wala tayong ilalatag dito kundi iisa lang. Ang lalatag natin sa table na ngayon with the help of our partners, sayang wala yung iba nating mga partners from the TWG, ang ilalatag natin sa table ngayon hindi pera kundi solusyon.
This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
One of the President's priority transparency measures has cleared the Senate. The proposed Cadena Bill, which mandates full public access to government budget documents through a digital platform, has passed third and final reading. As senators say, the bill gained momentum amid public outrage over anomalous flood control projects. Here's the report.
One of the priority measures endorsed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Citizen Access and Disclosure of Expenditures for National Accountability or Cadena Act, has passed third and final reading in the Senate. With a 17-0 vote, the proposed measure was approved, aiming to provide full public disclosure of all government budget-related budgets through a digital platform. According to Senator Bam Aquino, the principal author of the Cadena Act, that transparency measure would likely not have stood a chance had it not been for the ongoing investigation into anomalous flood control projects. Aquino stressed that because of heightened public scrutiny over the investigation, the bill gained momentum and support in the Senate. Insert graphic statement. Under the transparency measure, all government agencies are mandated to regularly upload detailed budgets, including project contracts, expenditures, bills of materials, and procurement records. The Cadena Bill ensures that all documents will be publicly accessible, tamper-proof, traceable, open source, and verifiable. Government officials who fail to disclose required documents may face administrative and criminal charges. Following the Senate's approval, Aquino urged the House of Representatives to fast-track the passage of the bill in support of ensuring that every peso of public funds is properly accounted for. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
Following the almost doubled budget for the medical assistance to indigent and financially incapacitated patients, or MAIFIF, under the Department of Health, several legislators have questioned the proposed budget for the said financial aid program. Vanessa Cleofas has the details.
The budget for the medical assistance to indigent and financially incapacitated patients or MAIFIP under the Department of Health or DOH for the proposed 2026 budget has been nearly doubled. In the version presented by Congresswoman Mika Swansing at the Bicameral Conference Committee, a budget of 49 billion pesos plus an additional 2.7 billion pesos, totaling 51 billion pesos is being proposed for MAIFIP next year, up from the previous 24.33 billion pesos in the National Expenditure Program or NEP. According to lawmakers, the larger budget would greatly benefit low-income families, indigent and vulnerable sectors who rely solely on MAIFIP for life-saving healthcare and financial support for hospitalization. While some legislators and senators support the increase, others, including some civil societies groups, are not. For Senator J.V. Ejercito, the principal author and sponsor of Universal Healthcare or UHEC Act, this goes against the UHC's goal of providing quick access to medical services for Filipinos. He argues that instead of allocating such a large sum to MAIFIP, the funds should go to PhilHealth, where Filipinos would not have to rely on begging for medical services. House Assistant Minority Leader and Gabriela Women's Party Representative Sara Elago also questioned the BICAM panel's decision, saying it merely fuels political maneuvering which further delays addressing the root problems of the country's healthcare system. Another issue cited is political patronage, as MAIFIP still require a guarantee letter from politicians for patients to access the program. According to Cardinal Virgilio David of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines or CBCP, while MAIFIP may appear helpful on paper, in reality it functions as a pork barrel where assistance is granted only when there is an endorsement from politicians who also decide who gets aid, how much, and when. Congresswoman Mika Swansing argued that if the House version of 51 billion pesos is not approved and only the Senate version of 28 billion pesos is passed, over 1 million Filipinos would no longer benefit from MAIFIP. Under the 2025 General Appropriations Act or GAA, MAIFIP had a budget of 41.2 billion pesos serving almost 3.3 million Filipinos. If funding is reduced next year, only about 2.5 million patients may be promised assistance. Meanwhile, Senate President Tito Sotto and Senator Ping Lacson expressed plans to remove the requirements of guarantee letters from politicians to prevent the program from being used for political purposes and to stop it from functioning as a pork barrel. They also aim to allow MAIFIP to be used in private hospitals. According to Senate Finance Committee Chair Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, the committee will study the recommendation and plan to remove the guarantee letter or GL requirements in MAIFIP. MAIFIP under the DOH provides medical assistance to Filipinos who cannot afford hospital payments, covering inpatient and outpatient services, dialysis, comprehensive checkups, medicines, and professional fee of doctors. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
The Department of Education has given students and teachers a 16-day break to celebrate the holiday with their loved ones. The students and teachers may enjoy the holiday from December 20 till January 4, 2026. More details from Graciela Corazon.
The Department of Education or DepEd has once again reminded the dates to remember for the start of the Christmas break and resumptions of classes for the next year. In the notice issued by DepEd, the Christmas break of students will begin on December 20, 2025, and the resumptions of classes on their return to schools will be on January 5, 2026. According to DepEd Order No. 12 issued by Secretary Sani Angara last April, this covered the multi-year implementing guidelines on the school's calendars and activities of DepEd. This will be the basis and will be followed by public schools in elementary, secondary, and community learning centers or CLCs. According to the agency, students will have 16-day Christmas break. It is also gives learners, teachers, and schools personnel ample time to celebrate the Christmas and New Year holidays with their families, as well as to rest and recharge before the resumption of classes in January. Also allow families to strengthen bonds, participate in traditional holidays activities, and observe religious and cultural celebrations that are deeply rooted in Filipino values. It can be recalled that Christmas Eve or Noche Buena is celebrated every 24th on December, and December 25, the holiday seasons is also celebrated. December 31 is the last day of the year, and on January 1, the change of the year or New Year's Day is celebrated. The holiday break is implemented every last 2 weeks of December, and the students' classes will be resumed every first week of January of the following year. This is Graciela Corazon for Eurotv News.
As we officially enter the Christmas novena, the Department of Interior and Local Government assures tight security during the mass, deploying security the personnel for monitoring. Catherine Landicho with the report.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG has assured the public to heighten security measures during the start of Simbang Gabi to ensure public safety and order as the Christmas season approach. Simbang Gabi is a long-standing Filipino tradition held in the mornings leading up to Christmas Day. A large turnout of courageous is expected in various churches nationwide as part of the Christmas celebration. In line with this, the DILG, in coordination with the local government units and barangay officials, has deployed approximately 100,000 police personnel to secure churches and other crowded areas to maintain peace and order. The DILG also reminded Simbang Gabi attendees to remain alert, vigilant, and cautious at all times, especially amid the influx of people in churches and public spaces. In case of any emergency, the public is advised to immediately call 911 for the prompt assistance. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, 2.5 million passengers are expected to be accommodated on the upgraded NAIA Terminal 3 on the peak of holiday. Vanessa Cleofas returns with the details.
NAIA Terminal 3 is expecting a surge of inbound and outbound travelers in the Philippines, especially during the holiday season. The airport management is optimistic that new facilities at NAIA, inaugurated by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos, and other government officials will be a significant help to passengers. These upgrades include the deployment of 78 biometric e-gates designed to complete immigration clearance in just 20 seconds, helping prevent crowding and long lines at airport, particularly during peak travel hours. The dignitaries' lounge has also been expanded to accommodate up to 61 passengers. During the inauguration, the President also visited the dignitaries' lounge, mezzanine hall, arrival immigration e-gates, transit tour and tourist medical concierge pavilion, all-Filipino food hall, and mezzanine food hall, which offers Filipino cuisines. In addition, NAIA strengthened security throughout the airport, deploying 2,300 trained screeners. According to the President, this initiative are part of Marcos administration's ongoing efforts together with NAIA Infracorp to make the airport more efficient and modern for its passengers. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
Former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile died last month at the age of 101, leaving his then position as the Chief Presidential Legal Counsel of the Marcos administration. On Tuesday, Malacanang Palace confirmed the appointment of Attorney Annalisa Logan as the new Chief Presidential Legal Counsel. Logan has served as Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs. She also has extensive experience as a lawyer on civil and criminal litigation, family, labor, and human settlements, among others. Earlier this year, Logan also applied for the ombudsman position but did not get the post. Aside from her, Malacanang also announced the appointment of other new officials in the government. This includes Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Maria Luwalhati Dorotan Chuseco, Deputy Executive Secretary for General Administration Daniel Marie Riza Colangit, Deputy Executive Secretary for Financial Affairs Joseph Irvin Ovensa, Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs Jessie Hermogenes Andres, Undersecretary for Economic Affairs Erwin Santa Ana, and Assistant Secretary Elimar Mosquito. Following the incident of water cannon fired by Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia vessel against Filipino fishermen in the Escoda Shoal area, the Department of National Defense, or DND, reminded China to abide by UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, in the 2026 arbitral ruling. Consequently, the DND also filed democratic against the Chinese government yesterday. Alvin Pilabello for the report.
The Department of National Defense has condemned the dangerous actions of Chinese ships against Filipino fishermen in the Escoda Shoal. The DND also called the water cannon fired by China Coast Guard and a Chinese maritime militia vessel against Filipinos as inhumane actions. 3 Filipino fishermen were injured and 2 fishing boats were damaged after being water cannoned by the large ships of China. The DND also called on China to abide by its mandate from the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, and the final decision of the 2016 arbitration ruling. According to the DND, the non-recognition of the international rules-based order affects the peace and stability in the region. The DND also said that it will abide by the directive of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to protect Filipinos while also working through diplomatic and legal mechanism to protect Manila's sovereignty, rights, and jurisdiction. Yesterday, the Department of Foreign Affairs has filed a demarque against the Chinese government following the incident. Beijing has not yet made a statement on this, but as China repeatedly defended, the Nanchacuando is part of their territory as stated in what they call the 9-dash line, a matter that was invalidated by the 2016 arbitration ruling. This is Alvin Palabello for Eurotv News.
Several progressive groups marched to the streets denouncing China Coast Guard's use of water cannon against Filipino fishermen in Escoda Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. The protesters stressed that the action of the CCG is danger to the lives and the livelihood of the fishermen. Henry Nicolas has the report.
Lying down on the road, destroying effigies of China Coast Guard ships and tearing up cardboard flags of China. These were the scenes at the lightning rally held today by various groups at the Chinese Embassy in Manila. This was part of the lightning rally of the Alyansa Bantay Kapayapaan at Demokrasya to condemn the use of water cannons by Chinese Coast Guard against Filipino fishermen in Escoda Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. In the said protest, they emphasized the danger to the lives and livelihoods of the fishermen through a die-in protest. The protest stemmed after 3 Filipino fishermen sustained injuries and bruises following harassment, targeting and water cannoning by the China Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia vessels. 2 boats belonging to the Filipino fishermen were also damaged due to the strong pressure of the water cannon from Chinese vessels, which occurred on Friday. The groups stressed that this is a clear violation of human rights and international maritime law, asserting that Escoda Shoal is within the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. Allied countries of the Philippines have also previously expressed concern and strongly condemned the repeated harassment by Chinese vessels in WPS. The protesters called on the government and the international community to defend the country's sovereignty and protect the Filipino fishermen. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police orders special investigation to resolve the missing case of the bride-to-be in Quezon City. Mila Yagin tells us more.
The Philippine National Police conducts all-out investigation to solve mystery on sudden disappearance of a 30-year-old woman in Quezon City days before her wedding. PNP Chief Police Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. assured that a special investigation team has been formed tasked to focus on the investigation of the case. The bride-to-be was Shera De Juan, who was supposed to marry her fiancé Mark R.G. Reyes on December 14. Reyes recounted that he last communicated with the Juan on December 10, with the bride notifying him that she will go to the mall to buy wedding shoes. Since then, she was not able to return home nor contacted by any of her family members. Presently, the authorities have her cell phone in their custody, which she left charging in the residence, reviewing as well CCTV footages on locations she might have went. The police extends all measures and resources in the investigation, looking into all possible angles of the case, including foul play. Reyes, on the other hand, said that they have no known enemy of the Juan and that their status is on average to be abducted for ransom. Amid this, Reyes and his fiancé's family have offered a 20,000 pesos cash reward for any information leading to the Juan's whereabouts. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
9 suspects involved in illegal drug-related offenses were nabbed in separate operations in Bulacan. Meanwhile, another suspect of illegal firearm possession were also arrested on the same day in San Ildefonso. Here's Shai Morales for the details.
The authorities have arrested 9 suspects for illegal drug-related offenses in separate operations conducted in Bulacan on Tuesday, December 16. Confiscated from the suspects were 15 sachets of suspected shabu with an estimated value of 76,425 pesos, including the buy-bust money. The arrested individuals are now under police custody and will face charges for violations of Republic Act 9165, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Meanwhile, another suspect was arrested over illegal possession of firearms during an operation conducted in Barangay Maasim, San Ildefonso, Bulacan on the same day. According to the police report, the suspect, identified as alias Atan, a 43-year-old resident of the town, was arrested at around 12 a.m. Confiscated from the scene were a caliber .38 revolver without serial number, 3 pieces of live ammunition, and a leather holster. Also seized were 1,000 pesos in buy-bust money and 4 pieces of fake budo money. The suspect is now under police custody and will face charges for violations of the Republic Act 10591, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. This is Shai Morales reporting for Eurotv News.
The province of Guimaras is one step closer to becoming fully drug-free after the municipalities of San Lorenzo and Sibunag were officially declared drug-clear during the Regional Oversight Committee deliberation held this past Thursday. Catherine Landicho reports.
The province of Guimaras has achieved a significant milestone in campaigning against illegal drugs after 2 of its municipalities, San Lorenzo and Sibunag, were officially declared drug-cleared. The declaration took place during the Regional Oversight Committee deliberation. Under the national standards, a province may only be declared drug-free once all its municipalities have been declared drug-cleared. With this recent development, Guimaras has taken a major step toward its goal of becoming a fully drug-free province. Governor Maria Lucille Nava attended the event and expressed her optimism and satisfaction with the province's progress. She stated this is a big step for the province to have 2 out of 5 municipalities declared drug-cleared. Also present during the deliberation were key partners in the campaign against illegal drugs, including representatives from the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA. This achievement is seen as a testament to the strong collaborations among local government units, law enforcement agencies, national government partners, and the community in promoting peace, safety, and public health in the province of Guimaras. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Following the shooting incident involving a father and son at Australia's Bondi Beach, reports from the Bureau of Immigration and Malacanang revealed that the 2 had departed from Davao on November 28 before going to Australia. Son Santiago has the report.
The Philippine Bureau of Immigration or BI have confirmed that the father-son in the deadly Bondi Beach shooting in Australia had visited the Philippines before their attack. The BI said suspect Sajid Hagram and his son Navid Akram arrived in the country together on November 1. According to the Bureau, the 2 listed Davao as their final destination during their stay. They later left the Philippines on November 28, traveling from Davao to Manila before flying back to Sydney. Prior to this, the Australian government has announced the said visit, though the purpose of their trip remains unclear. But they also noted concerns that some individuals in their country may have links to terrorist groups in the Philippines. On the other hand, Malacanang said the Philippines National Security Council is now validating information related to the suspect's visit and assessing whether it posed any security risk to the Philippines.
The National Security Council is aware of the reports that the individuals involved in the Bondi Beach shooting in Australia had previously traveled to the Philippines, and these are currently under validation. At this time, there is no confirmed information indicating that their visit posed a security threat, and this is not considered a serious or immediate concern. Standard security, immigration, and counterterrorism protocols remain fully active, with coordination ongoing with Australian.
The Bondi Beach attack killed at least 15 people during a Jewish Hanukkah celebration. This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
2 years have passed since the war between Israel and Hamas in Palestine, in which millions of people have lost their lives. The International Criminal Court has rejected the appeal of Israel to halt the investigation into the war. Son Santiago returns with the report.
The International Criminal Court Appeals Chamber has rejected Israel's appeal to halt the court's investigation into alleged war crimes committed in the occupied territories of Palestine, especially in Gaza and West Bank. On Monday, ICC appeals judges ruled that the court may continue examining Israel's military actions, including events following the October 7, 2023 attack. That attack saw Hamas launch an assault in southern Israel, triggering Israel's military response. Since then, Gaza health authorities says more than 70,000 Palestinians have been killed. Based on Israel's argument, the ICC has no jurisdiction and claimed the post-October 7 fighting should be treated as a new case, which would require fresh notification from the court. It can be recalled the ICC formally notified Israel last 2021 that they were opening its investigation into criminal situation of the occupied state of Palestine. This is after Palestine lodged a declaration over war crimes committed there. That earlier notification, the appeals chamber emphasized, already includes later developments. As a result, arrest warrants issued in November 2024 for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister will also remain valid. In a statement posted on social media, Israel's foreign ministry rejects the ruling, calling it a disregard for the sovereignty of countries that are not members of the ICC, such as Israel. This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
Alas, Pilipinas women's team suffered their supposed to be payback time lost for Indonesia. The indoor volleyball national team now ends their 33rd SEA Games journey. Kyle Basa has the sports news.
Alas, Pilipinas women's team failed to claim the bronze medal after they suffered a loss against Team Indonesia in the battle for third matchup in SEA Games yesterday, December 15. Team Indonesia came prepared for their matchup against Alas. They dominated the first set, in which the Alas bounced back in the second, and Indonesia won the remaining 2 straight sets to claim the victory. The final scores of the matchup are 26-28, 25-13, 28-30, and 24-26. This is the Alas's 4th consecutive time that they've lost against Indonesia for the battle for third matchups in SEA Games. With that loss, the Alas went to the 4th spot of the overall standing of women's indoor volleyball. It has been 2 decades since the women's team have won a medal, and they are looking forward to winning it at the next SEA Games. This is Kyle Basa reporting for Eurotv News.
Gerald Anderson and Richard Gutierrez are back at again with another action series together. Here's Sam Martos for this showbiz update.
The two Kapamilya stars and actors Gerald Anderson and Richard Gutierrez will star in an action series again. This was confirmed by JRB Creative Production on their social media account through a teaser video for the new series. It can be recalled that Anderson previously starred in the crime thriller series Sin of the Father alongside actress Francine Diaz, while Gutierrez also starred in the drama series Incognito, which concluded last July. Although no exact date has been released yet when the action series will be aired, it has given a signal that it will be aired next year. Meanwhile, fans could not hide their excitement over the pairing of the two and the chance to see them together again on television. This is Sam Martos for Eurotv Showbiz News.
And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit Eurotvph.com for more news and information. You may also catch our live broadcast through our social media accounts and via Pinoy Extreme cable channel. Once again, I am KRIZZA Lopez and this is Eurotv News Thread. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone. Happy holidays!